Under the ancient fig tree, Buddha seated himself amidst his disciples. His calm presence filling the air with serenity, he surveyed their faces, a mix of eagerness and curiosity, before speaking with the wisdom of 1,000 lifetimes. Around him, his disciples formed a circle, their eyes heavy with the burdens of unspoken questions. Buddha gazed at each disciple, his expression calm, his presence a deep well of peace. Silence stretched between them, and it was in this silence that they found an invitation to listen. Finally, Buddha spoke, his voice like water flowing gently over stones. Loneliness visits every soul, he began, his eyes fixed on the distance where the sky met the earth. It arrives unbidden, an uninvited guest that shadows your steps and whispers doubts into your heart. A young monk named Ananda, his brow furrowed with confusion, raised his hand tentatively. "Master," he asked softly, "why does loneliness come to us? What does it seek from us?" Buddha regarded Ananda with a look of deep understanding. He picked up a small, dry seed that rested on the ground beside him. Holding it aloft, he said, "This seed was cast away from its home, separated from the plant that nourished it. Alone, it lies exposed to the elements, fragile and seemingly without purpose. But in its solitude, it contains the beginning of a journey, a path toward transformation." The disciples leaned forward, their curiosity kindled by the parable of the seed. Buddha continued, "Loneliness, like this seed, holds within it the possibility of growth. It is not your foe. It is a guide, urging you to turn inward and discover the wholeness that resides within." A silence settled over the group as they reflected on his words. The disciples nodded, the metaphor unfolding in their minds, allowing them to visualize relationships from a fresh perspective. One older monk asked, "But Master, what if setting boundaries is met with anger or resistance? Will it not lead to discord?" Buddha turned to him, his eyes gleaming with understanding. Buddha placed the seed gently back on the earth and folded his hands in his lap. "To confront loneliness, you must first sit with it. Do not flee from its shadow, nor seek to fill its void with distractions. Embrace it as you would a teacher, for it has come to reveal the truths hidden within your soul." He gestured to the withered seed once more. "This seed must endure its time alone in the earth. It must remain buried in darkness before it can sprout and reach for the light. So must you endure the stillness of solitude to uncover the strength and wisdom that lie within." The gentle breeze grew stronger, carrying the fragrance of blooming flowers from the nearby garden to the circle of disciples. Buddha continued, "To let go of toxic people is not abandonment but the act of removing obstacles to kindness and peace." The monks listened closely, the distant sound of a temple bell weaving into the fabric of Buddha's words. He gestured toward a thorn bush that grew at the edge of the monastery's path. "It asks only that you find peace within yourself, so that your connections with others are born of wholeness rather than need." He picked up a handful of soil and let it slip through his fingers, the grains scattering in the wind. The earth nurtures countless seeds, yet each seed must find its own way to grow. In solitude, you learn that you are enough, that your essence is complete. Only then can you truly share yourself with others without clinging or fear. The wind whispered again through the branches, carrying Buddha's words to the disciples' hearts. A young novice, his eyes brimming with tears, spoke haltingly, "Master, I have felt loneliness as a crushing force, as though it seeks to break me. How do I endure?" Buddha looked at the novice with infinite compassion. The weight of loneliness can feel unbearable, but it is not meant to break you. It is meant to teach you the art of stillness, the beauty of being present with your own soul. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and listen to the rhythm of your heartbeat. Let go not out of anger but out of compassionate understanding. The disciples nodded in agreement. realizing the act of release was not one of rejection but of honoring their inner peace. Remember, the seed does not despair in the darkness of the earth. It trusts the process, the unfolding of its journey. So must you trust in your own unfolding. For loneliness is but a chapter in the story of your growth. As the last rays of sunlight faded, the disciples sat in quiet reflection, their hearts touched by the wisdom of Buddha's words. Buddha stepped away, his form blending into the twilight, leaving his disciples to ponder the lesson beneath the stars. Another day, Buddha sat by the flowing river, his tranquil figure reflecting the calmness of the water beside him. Loneliness is not the end of your path. It is the beginning of your journey toward solitude, toward discovering the infinite within yourself. Embrace it not as a burden, but as an invitation to grow, to become the fullness of who you are meant to be. And with that, the lesson of the seed was complete. The disciples leaned closer, their curiosity palpable. As Buddha gently dipped the jar into the river and brought it up, he continued. When the jar fills with clear water, it nourishes life. Another day, another gathering beneath the ancient banyan tree, where whispers of wisdom danced with the wind. Buddha sat serenely, his gaze fixed upon the blossoms scattered across the earth. Around him, his disciples gathered, their hearts ripe with questions and reflections. Buddha raised his hand and pointed toward the flowers, their vibrant petals swaying gently. Look upon these blossoms, he began. Each stands alone, yet together, they create a tapestry of beauty and life. It gathers from the river of life what you choose to welcome, he said. The disciples nodded, reflecting on their own jars, hearts burdened by toxins they had accepted knowingly or unknowingly in their lives. Solitude is not an absence but a fullness, a state in which you find harmony within yourself and the world. A young disciple named Mahakasyapa stepped forward, his brow furrowed with unease. Master, I have sought solitude, yet I find it unbearable. Shadows rise to torment me, and my heart grows heavy. Buddha nodded, his eyes filled with understanding. Mahakasyapa, shadows appear not to harm but to guide. They reveal what remains unresolved within your soul. He picked a lotus flower from the ground and held it gently, its petals glowing softly in the sunlight. This lotus rises from the muck, its roots deep in muddy water. Yet it transforms the mud into nourishment. Buddha handed the lotus to Mahakasyapa, its fragrance light and pure. In solitude, you too must transform your fears and insecurities into wisdom and strength. Only then can you blossom. The disciples sat in thoughtful silence, contemplating the lotus and its lesson. You are not bound to hold its mud but free to welcome its clarity. The temple bell tolled in the distance, resonating like a sacred call, amplifying Buddha's wisdom as it echoed across the land. It asks you to face yourself without distraction, to embrace your essence as it is. Another disciple, Ananda, raised his voice, his tone hesitant but curious. Master, how does solitude differ from loneliness? Both seem to lead us away from others and into isolation. Buddha gestured to the branches of the banyan tree, their shadows dancing on the earth. Loneliness is the absence of connection, an aching void that yearns to be filled. Solitude is the embrace of self, a wholeness that requires no filling. Another disciple leaned forward, her hands resting on her knees as curiosity burned in her gaze. Master, how do we remove what overwhelms us? How do we empty our minds of endless worries and fears? She asked. The wind carried the scent of blossoms once more, filling the air with tranquility. The disciples closed their eyes, letting Buddha's words settle into their hearts. He said, nature does not hold on to what does not serve it. The flowing river teaches the art of letting go effortlessly. It simply expresses its essence, radiating its inner harmony outward. A novice named Punna, his face drawn with doubt, spoke hesitantly. Boundaries protect the pure water. They allow it to exist, unhindered and free, amidst the chaos of life's muddy currents. Solitude does not isolate you. It deepens your connection to all beings. Through self-understanding, you gain the ability to empathize and love. He gestured toward the blossoms, scattered yet radiant, each contributing to the beauty of the landscape. The flower does not lose its connection to the soil or the sky. Its solitude enhances its bond with life. The disciples sat in quiet reflection, the lessons of solitude sinking into their minds. Behold the lotus, he said, born from the mud, yet it rises above, untainted and untouched by its surroundings. The disciples watched the flowers closely, their vibrant petals shimmering under the sunlight, a stark contrast to the muddy water below. It is the path to wholeness. As the sun dipped lower, its golden rays casting long shadows, Buddha turned his gaze toward the horizon. His words flowed like a gentle stream. In solitude, you discover the vastness within, a boundless space that connects you to the universe itself. The disciples reflected on his words, their thoughts blooming like the flowers before them, each seeking clarity in their personal struggles. Another disciple asked, Master, how do we maintain compassion while setting boundaries with those who bring harm or discord? Buddha smiled softly and said, Compassion means understanding the mud, not allowing it to cling to your roots or tarnish your bloom. He gestured toward the pond, where the roots of the lotus plants intertwined with the mud below, yet remained steadfast. Notice the roots, he said, firmly planted in the mud, yet they draw only what is needed to nurture the flower. The disciples arranged themselves in a quiet semicircle, their hearts open to the teachings awaiting them. The morning air was crisp, carrying with it the fragrance of blooming flowers and the distant hum of life. Buddha spoke, his voice gentle yet firm, resonating with wisdom. The time has come to understand the final truth of solitude, the wholeness within your own soul. The disciples listened intently, their minds attentive, their souls eager to grasp the profound lesson. Buddha extended his hand toward a tree standing alone in the distance, its branches reaching for the sky. That tree stands solitary, he said, yet it is not alone. Its roots connect deeply with the earth, sustaining its life force. The disciples exchanged thoughtful glances, each absorbing the weight of his words. Buddha continued, his tone serene and unwavering. In solitude, you must come to see that you are never separate. The universe resides within you, as you within it. A disciple named Anuruddha, who had struggled with self-doubt, spoke hesitantly, Master, how do we realize the universe within us? The vastness feels overwhelming, beyond our understanding. Buddha smiled gently, his gaze compassionate. Anuruddha, the vastness is not outside of you. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. Feel the rhythm of your heartbeat. The disciples closed their eyes, their breathing soft and steady, as Buddha guided them inward. Within the heartbeat lies the echo of the cosmos, the pulsing harmony that binds all things together as one. A young disciple named Subhuti opened his eyes, awe shimmering in his gaze. Master, he asked softly, does this mean that solitude is an illusion? That we are never truly alone? Buddha nodded, his expression serene. Yes, Subhuti, solitude reveals the unity within. He said, bloom as the lotus blooms, in stillness and strength, connected to the earth but rising toward the infinite sky. The disciples bowed deeply, their hearts and minds filled with clarity. As Buddha's footsteps faded into the quiet of the dusk, the disciples sat motionless, their hearts resonating with the truth unfolding before them. Buddha lifted a fallen leaf from the ground and held it aloft, its veins intricate and delicate. Each leaf is unique, he said, yet all are part of the tree. They share its essence, its lifeblood. He placed the leaf gently back on the ground, his movements deliberate and reverent. You, too, are part of the whole, connected by the lifeblood of existence. Solitude reminds you of this truth. A disciple named Vamala, her eyes brimming with understanding, spoke with newfound confidence. Resistance fuels the fire of pain, while acceptance allows the fire to burn itself out, Buddha explained gently. Buddha turned his gaze to the disciples gathered around, their faces eager to absorb every word. Wholeness is not a destination but a realization. It is the essence of your being. Ananda. Within acceptance lies the strength to rise above pain and shape your response wisely, Buddha concluded softly. Ananda bowed deeply, his heart lighter, his mind clearer, his soul nourished by the wisdom of his master. The disciples followed his example, their gratitude and understanding reflected in their every movement. Buddha closed his eyes, his presence radiating stillness, his teachings lingering in the hearts of his followers. You find that you are never lacking, never incomplete. He gestured toward the distant hills, their silhouettes shimmering in the morning light. The hills, the sky, the rivers, all reside within you, as you within them. In solitude, this truth is revealed. In the stillness of the evening, the journey toward inner peace began anew. Guided by the teachings of the Enlightened One, the Bodhi tree stood as a silent witness to the profound exchange, its presence a symbol of enduring truth. As the sun reached its zenith, Buddha concluded his teaching, his voice a gentle benediction. Solitude is not the absence of others. It is the presence of self, the realization of your infinite connection. The disciples bowed deeply, their hearts overflowing with gratitude and understanding. They rose and dispersed, each carrying the seed of this final teaching, ready to nurture it within the soil of their souls. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.